What up guys, SuperMetal983 here bringing us another CD review. Now I know it's been a fair while since I've done a CD review on this channel, but that's just been mainly, as you've been noticing, that I've been trying to vary up the content on this channel, adding more digital reviews. I've done a single review not too long ago for the new Rivers of Nile song, which is excellent stuff. Also, I've been in the mood for gig reviews lately, and those have been flying out left, right and centre. But the CD reviews have just been kind of non-existent lately, and I do apologise about that. But I'm still going to be doing CD reviews over the coming year, 2018, and obviously in the future. I'm just trying to vary it up a little bit and not just keep it to CD reviews and updates and purchases. I want to keep it more varied than that, so stick around. There is going to be more CD reviews in the upcoming future. But I've got a CD review for you today, and this was probably the first album that I listened to from the 2018 releases. But yeah, this is what I'm going to be reviewing for you today. Is it going to focus? Yeah. This is the new album from the band Watain, entitled Trident, Eclipse. This is released under Century Media Records. Now, if you aren't too familiar with Watain, I'll be very surprised, especially if you're into black metal. You should have at least heard the name going about, or else given them the chance. Because Watain, in my opinion, are one of the sickest black metal bands on the fucking planet, and have produced one of my all-time favourite black metal records, Lawless Darkness. Now, Lawless Darkness to me is still one of the most iconic albums in black metal, if you ask me. I think, personally to me, it's up there with the likes of Demon Steve's Dom Sathanas by Mayhem, Dark Thrones, let's say Transylvanian Hunger, or the Trinity that they're done, and Immortals, what's it called again? Well, let's just say Pure Holocaust, for example. I think Lawless Darkness is up there with that lot. But I first got introduced to the band through their live DVD that they released a couple of years back. One of my mates rang us up and he was like, "Oh, you need to come over and watch this DVD with us." So I went over his, and I was literally blown away by how captivating, ritualistic, and just evil this performance was. It wasn't like anything I'd ever seen or come across before. Like, I'd seen footage of like Dimmu Borgir and Cradle of Filth performing before, and their performances are like huge, but this was something different, something scary, and just all in all just insane. It was literally insane, and I was so captivated by it. I was like, I need to listen to this band, and I checked out their album that was previously released. I believe it was released in 2010, which was obviously Lawless Darkness. Now, I think that perfectly set up my love for the band, because obviously discovering them in 2012 was the follow-up of 2013 with the release of their last album, which was called The Wild Hunt. Now, The Wild Hunt, in my opinion, I don't know if it was just my personal taste, that I was still on the honeymoon phase of Lawless Darkness, and I was still absolutely loving that album, and The Wild Hunt just didn't like click with me straight away. Like, I do listen to the album on the odd occasion, and I still think it's an absolutely amazing album to listen to. It's great, dark, sinister, raw, nasty, all the things you would expect from a really good, solid, dark black metal album, especially from a band like Watain. But over the years, I've kind of just grown to not really love The Wild Hunt as much as Lawless Darkness. That's kind of settled in stone. I'm like, yeah, that's how I feel. So I was kind of hoping when they would eventually release an album, whenever that may be. Over the past couple of years, I've been like, when is this new Watain album going to come out? I'd hoped that it was going to be something a lot better than The Wild Hunt, but I had a feeling it wasn't going to touch Lawless Darkness as it is to me. And then we have, 5 years later, the release of Trident, Eclipse. Now, this album runs about 40 minutes in length, and it, in my opinion personally, it flows a little bit along the same sort of lines as The Wild Hunt. It has that, but it still has a lot of Lawless Darkness influence in there. It still has that Watain sound that you need to have, because Watain have created their own sound, as a load of fans of the band will tell you. It's raw, it's nasty, it's aggressive, but what I seem to like about Watain is the melodic passages that they hold within their music. Now, obviously, black metal does have a bit of melodies in there and the harmonies to create just that dark sense that it's not as if melodic and tuneful like, say, a Ramon Marth kind of album. It's like a real melodic, creepy sort of vibe to it, and that's what Watain's always managed to pull off. And with Trident Wolf Eclipse, it still has that melody, but I feel like this album just has that little bit of rawness that you felt on the Wild Hunt, but it continues the dark melodies that Lawless Darkness had to offer, in my personal opinion. Now, obviously, we got really the taste of the album with the song, I believe it was the first track on this album, called Nuclear Alchemy, which starts off with a bang. Quite literally, when it kicks in with that massive bang, you just know, oh, instantly, it's going to be something very, very dark, very aggressive, and very full of nuclear attack. Now, the nuclear word is kind of the key point there, because the nuclear, it literally feels like a nuclear bomb has just gone straight off in your face, and you're just like, what the fuck is going on? And with that being said, I feel that this album definitely outdoes the Wild Hunt a lot more, in my opinion. I think it has a bit more attack going for it. I think the production kind of affected the Wild Hunt a little bit, but this album, it definitely has that aggression that because I couldn't feel much aggression and emotion behind the Wild Hunt. I felt a little bit, but didn't feel as much emotion as, say, Lawless Darkness did, and Lawless Darkness definitely had that raw and attack going for it, which definitely echoes a lot on this album. I think the production value on this album is absolutely great compared to the Wild Hunt. Now, I have to say the vocals on this album are easily one of the things that attracted us and made us fall in love with Watain. Watain's vocals are just so evil, just commanding. They're literally one of the most commanding vocals within the world of black metal, if you ask me. Like, they don't feel like they're there just to sue you. They're there to command you, rip your face off, and just cast spells of darkness just upon you that you just can't shake off in any way, means, shape, or form. It's chilling to absolutely different and very nerve-wracking to listen to those vocals, because that's the vibes that I get when I listen to this album. But every instrument on this album creates a lot of attack, and with the production value, it definitely has a raw, nasty, gritty edge. It feels like the equivalent of listening to black metal sandpaper in your eardrums. That's the perfect way to describe the listen to this album. It still has a lot of clarity in there to hear the melodies and each instrument as they are. The only thing that I would say about this album, which I'm not massively overwhelmed with, or what this album does for me, and in the sense of overwhelming, is it doesn't have as much of catches or hooks that you can remember in comparison to Lawless Darkness. It definitely clicked a little bit more. I don't know if you've been made aware during this whole review, but it definitely has a lot better value to it than the Wild Hunt. But in my opinion, it doesn't have a lot of catchiness to memorableness to it. It doesn't feel like anything new. It just feels like a continuation of the Wild Hunt, just improving what that album was. It doesn't feel like, personally to me, that it's as amazing as I wanted it to be. I wanted, after 5 years, them to come back and just absolutely knock the ball out of the park. And I wish I could stand here and say this to you now, that this would be an album of the year contender. But unfortunately, that's the only factor that I feel like I'm not massively overwhelmed with this album. It doesn't have as much memorableness as it has as much memorableness to me anyway as the Wild Hunt. Like, there's a couple of odd tracks that I like Nuclear Alchemy. What's the song again? I think it's A Throne Below and Towards the Sanctuary. I think there's a couple of good songs on here that are definitely, like, really fucking good, but it doesn't have as much memorableness to it. It's not a repetitive album that you want to listen to again and again, personally, but it's still a good album to listen to, and a very good continuation of the Wild Hunt. I just wish there'd been more, especially after waiting 5 years. That's just my personal opinion. Let us know in the comments section down below what your opinion is on this album. Was this worth the wait? And also, do you think it's better than the Wild Hunt, Lawless Darkness, or any of their previous albums? I know I mentioned the previous albums, but that's because I'm not overly familiar with their older discography, because I just love Lawless Darkness that much. That's just basically how it is. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. For an overall score on this album, I'm going to give this a solid 6 out of 10. That, I think, is a fair score for this album. So, but don't get us wrong, make sure you check it out and develop your own opinions. Check out Trident Wolf Eclipse by Watain, released on the Century Media Records in 2018. And I'll see you until the next video. And remember, stay metal, and I'll see you later.